Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers, from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today's subject is Psychology, Part 2, from Sri Aurobindo. Physical science and psychology, in its present methods, is only an extension of physical science, conducts its research into things from down upwards. It regards matter as the foundation and the bottom of things, and having surged into that foundation, got as it thinks to the very bottom it believes, or once believed, it has by that very fact understood their depths, their center, their height and top. But this is a naive error. The truth of things is in their depths, or at their center, and even at their top. The truth of consciousness also is to be found at its top and in its depths, or at its center. But when we enter into the depths of consciousness, and when we try to reach its center, we go off into trance, and likewise before we get to its top, we go off into trance. I mean by yogic psychology an examination of the nature and movements of consciousness as they are revealed to us by the process and results of yoga. This definition at once takes us out of the field of ordinary psychology and extends the range of our observation to an immense mass of facts and experiments which exceed the common surface and limited range, very much as the vastly extended range of observation of science exceeds that of the common man, looking at natural external phenomena only with the help of his unaided mind and senses. The field of yoga is practically unlimited, and its processes and instrumentation have a plasticity and adaptability and power of expansion to which it is difficult to see or set any limit. It is true that modern psychology has probed the internal law of living matter and consciousness and arrived at results which are remarkable but limited and fundamentally inconclusive. We know from it that the movements of consciousness are affected and on a certain side determined by the functioning of the physical organs. But still the nature, origin, and laws of consciousness remain unknown. All that has been proved is that the body provides for it an engine or instrumentation for its manifestation in living physical bodies, and that certain lesions, alterations, or deteriorations of the engine may lead to considerable or serious results in the functioning of the embodied consciousness. This was to be expected and can at once be conceded, but there is no proof that consciousness is a function of matter, or that it was originated by the chemical or biological processes of the body, or that it perishes with the dissolution of life in the body. The cessation of its functioning in the body at death proves nothing, for that was to be expected whatever the origin of consciousness or its fundamental nature. Its disappearance may be a departure, a disappearance from the body, but not a disappearance from existence. It is true also that modern inquiry probing into psychological as opposed to physiological phenomena has discovered certain truths that are equally discovered by yogic process: the role of the subconscious, the subliminal, double or multiple personality. But its observations in these fields are of an extremely groping and initial character, and one does not see easily how it can arrive at the same largeness or results here as in psychology, physics, chemistry, or other departments of physical science. It is only by yoga process that one can arrive at an instrumentation which will drive large wide roads into the psychological unknown, and not only obscure and narrow tunnels. The field of psychology needs a direct inner psychological instrumentation by which we can arrive at sure data and sure results in ourselves verified by equally sure data and results in our observation of others and of the hidden psychological world and its play of unseen forces. The physical is the outwardly seen and sensed, and needs physical instruments for its exploration. The psychological is the physically unseen and unsensed, to be discovered only by an organization of the inward senses, and other now undeveloped and occult means. It is through consciousness, by an instrumentation of consciousness only, that the nature and laws and movements of consciousness can be discovered. And this is the method of yoga. In psychology, one can say that the mechanical or physiological approach takes hold of the thing by the blind end and is the least fruitful of all. For psychology is not primarily a thing of mechanism and measure. It opens to a vast field beyond the physical instrumentalities of the body consciousness. In biology, one can get a glimpse of something beyond mechanism, because there is from the beginning a stir of consciousness progressing and organizing itself more and more for self-expression. But in physics, you are in the very domain of the mechanical law, where process is everything, and the driving consciousness has chosen to conceal itself with the greatest thoroughness, so that, scientifically speaking, it does not exist there. One can discover it there by occultism and yoga, but the methods of occult science and of yoga are not measurable or followable by the means of physical science. So the gulf remains in existence. It may be bridged one day, but the physicist is not likely to be the bridge builder. So it is no use asking him to try what is beyond his province.